Dang, y'all was gonna let me talk without no sound? Y'all bogus. Y'all bogus. Y'all was gonna let me talk for a whole minute and a half without no sound. Okay. So today we're talking about Mrs. McTear. I don't know how to pronounce her first name, but I'm going to put it up right here on the screen so you guys are going to see it. We're going to talk about the story. Now, the story went incredibly viral a couple of days ago. That's why we're talking about it. It occurred in June of this year, but because it had died down, her sister started a TikTok page, and now the story is really blowing up. So we're going to be talking about her sister's story today. We're also going to get into the news piece that her father had just did, which sheds more light onto the story. Okay. Which is also incredibly sad, and talk about her two little best friends. Now, mind you, this must be the year of frenemies. We were talking about this earlier today on the live stream on TikTok. This must be the year of frenemies, honey, because the frenemies are coming out of the gate. It's like their one is outshining the next. It's like one bad friend is outshining the next. Like, oh, what did she say? What did the one girl say? You oh, your friend died in Cabo? I'll do you one better. I'll leave my friend on the side of the road. You know what I mean? It's just like one bad take after another. You know what I mean? It's like one bad take after the other. So we're gonna be getting into her story, but first, let's see who's all into the building. And then let me refresh this so I can see who's all in here because I was talking for quite a while with no sound. Okay. Start from the very top. Oh, it's a lot of y'all in here. What's up, Gemini? Hello, Brown Delight. Hello, Stephanie Buchanan. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Courtney. Hello, Cami on the go. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Kamiko. Hello, Amber. Hello, Alicia. Hello, Chocolate Bay. I know a lot of you are new here because a lot of you didn't even know we had a YouTube channel. Crazy. We actually have this is our little studio. Hello, Mary Francis says, hey, nosy people. I hope everyone had a great Sunday. Hope y'all had a good Sunday. It was a good Sunday. I didn't do much. Hello, Just Bougie. Hello, Lollipop. Hello, Lollipop. Hello, YNV. Hello, Jerica. Hello, Mimi. Hello, Chaz Princeton. Hello, Samantha. Hello, AC. What's up, Big Dreamer? Big Dreamer says, Steph and Nosies just got home from work. Oh, perfect timing. We right here. We in the building. Okay. Hello, Brown Mama. Hello, Queen Shell. Hello, Deja Smalls. Hello, Marquise Hall. I asked you, are we related? Hello, Monique. Hello, Chaffee. Hello, Denise. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Phyllis. Hello, V Haggard. Hello, Nicole. Oh, everybody in the building. Where's Facebook? I know y'all last. What's up, Ashley? Hello, Amiko. Hello, Summer. Summer says, I can. She's saying the greetings. Sorry, y'all. My volume was out. I hope y'all came back. Hello, Broderick. Hello, B Smith. Hello, Sand Wolf. How you doing today? Hello, Nosy by nature. How you doing? Hello, B Ashlyn. Hello, Lexi said hello. Hello, Mimi. Hello, Sheree. Hello, Summer. How you doing today? Hello, the Queen Steph. Hello, where's the tea? Hello, Rose. How you doing today? This is Kauai Jamaican. Okay, that's a nice little mixture. What's up? Hello, R Virgil. Hello, BMO Free. Hello, Jacqueline. Jacqueline says similar to the Mexico friends. The story is very similar to the Mexico friends. The story is very similar to the Mexico friends. Nail meets head, right on the money. Hello, is this Charlize? Hello, Charlize. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Tree Tips. Hello, Coco. Coco said, hashtag year to frenemies. Literally, every story, this at least that we've covered for the last like 8 weeks, has always been these really bad friends. You know what I mean? Like, just it's like you can't get any worse friends. You can't get any worse friends than these yahoos. So it's a mess. It's a mess, y'all. It's a mess. It's a mess. It is. It is. And I'm really tired of telling these stories, but they have to be told so you know who to watch out for. You know what kind of friends to not have. And you also know, like, really, and just like before we begin, but like the entire premise of my entire show is to teach you guys not just talk about the tea, essentially, but it's to teach you analytics. It's to teach you how to build hypotheses, how to not fall down rabbit holes of crazy thinking, but how to draw conclusions from the evidence that you have, because these type of skills lead you to not have bad friends. I mean, What can I say? I got good friends. Okay. So I'm just saying. And it's not just because I picked my friends. My friends pick me as well because I have a decent amount of discernment about myself. But it just teaches you these things. We shouldn't be in our 30s and 40s. Heck, even in our 20s, right? With bad friends. I just don't think we should. So I'll do my best to teach y'all everything that I know about friend picking. Okay. Y'all teach me everything y'all know about friend picking. And then maybe we can enter into 2024 with good friends. How about that? Right? We just enter into 2024 and we just make good friends. Okay. So this is her sister, Kira or Kyra. I hope I'm saying her name right. Kyra or Kiera. And she is going to tell you what everything that she knows, and then we're going to get into what her dad knows and kind of mesh them together. Obviously, it's her dad, so she knows what her dad knows, but he tells it from a different frame of mind, and so does she. So we're going to get into her story now. Let me mute myself. Now let me mute myself, and knowing that I'm muted.
I'm gonna finally tell the story of what happened to my sister. Her birthday was June 24th. She went to Jacksonville, Florida to be with two friends, Keisha and Kiana. She got there. She got down there. They went to Ruth Chris. They went to another place. They drunk with other people. They After that, Keon and Keisha and Renee was going to go out to a club. This was around one something. Okay, I guess while they on the way there, they said my sister freaked out. Said somebody called her and she went completely off and she got out the car. Said she got out the car and they stopped the car and tried to look for her. They couldn't find her. So they left, contacted the police. Once they contacted the police basically told them there was nothing that they can do. They have to just wait until the morning time to just go home. They did just that. They did just that. The next day come around 12:04. The other friend that was not with them, that was with them when they went and had drinks somewhere, she was the one that called me. I got two calls, well, three calls. I didn't answer the first two because I didn't know the number at all. Something said, Kira, answer the phone. So I answered the phone. She said, hey, is it Strawberry Sister? And I'm like, yes, is my sister okay? Where's she at? After that, I really don't remember what happened. All I know is everybody in my family, we got in them cars and went straight to Jacksonville, Florida. We get to Jacksonville, Florida. They telling us that she's at a hospital. We get to the hospital. The lady tell us that, they can't really give us no information. Yes, it is a female that's in the hospital, but I guess we gotta wait. So somebody told us to call the mortician. We called them. They tell us we can come up there and they can give us a little bit of information. Mind you guys, it's Saturday. Okay. So we go over there. The people tell us yes, they do have a female, that was on the highway, that was hit. That's the only information that they can give us. So after that, we calling Keisha and Kiana them because where are y'all at? So we calling so we can get my sister stuff. Everybody is, don't know what to do. So we go all the way over to Keisha's house to go get my sister car and her clothes and stuff. So we get there and me and my mama, we go inside the house to talk to them. So I'm sitting by Kiana, my mama's sitting by me, and then she's sitting by Keisha. Keisha is boohoo crying, trying to tell the story. The energy was just so weird and so off. Kiana, she's sitting beside me, y'all. She was not crying at all. She was not crying. She had to make her. It's so crazy, y'all. It was like Kiana was trying to force herself to cry. It's like she didn't feel sad about it. It was just like I was just sitting there so numb. Not I really didn't know what to say, what to do, how to feel. I just wanted my sister. So as we, hear that side of the story, y'all, Kiana didn't even hug me. That's what's crazy. She did not want to hug me. I watched her. She was so cold hearted to the situation, which is so weird to me. Keisha, on the other hand, she was just boohoo crying hard, as if, yeah, y'all done fucked up. Okay, the other friend that called me, she was there. Okay, as we're walking out, Kiana she got her luggage going on her Jeep, finna get ready to leave and go to Oregon. We didn't know this until we got back to Jacksonville though. But we seen her with her luggage going to her car. She's like, bye y'all, bye y'all. Bitch, why are you happy? I was so confused, y'all. So confused. As I got back in the car, no later than 10 minutes, I'm on the road. The friend that called me, she called me and she said, the story that they just told y'all is not the same story that they just told me before y'all got here. Something is not right. Yeah. What's crazy though, y'all, that whole entire night that happened to my sister, Keisha or Kiana did not call nobody in my family. They didn't reach out to nobody and give us a heads up about anything. But y'all ain't got nothing to hide though. Y'all ain't got nothing to hide now. The friend that called me, she didn't know until the next day of what happened. She did tell me that they blew her phone up that entire night trying to get in touch with her, but she was tired, she was knocked out. She was just like, maybe they just drunk calling me. I'll talk to them in the morning. But she was the one that called me. She called me at 12:04, y'all. My sister was pronounced dead that night. That night. They had a whole freaking news thing going on about my sister that morning. My sister was pronounced dead on this at the scene. She was hit by two cars. So then y'all lied and y'all said that y'all went back and y'all looked for her. No, y'all didn't, because if y'all went back and y'all looked for my sister, y'all would have seen all them people out there. Y'all would have seen people out there because they just had a body. What kind of like it's not making sense at all. And then they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk to the detective. They have not reached out to us at all. They said they're scared to talk to the friend that called me. She didn't know until the next day of what happened. She did tell me that they blew her phone up that entire night trying to get in touch with her, but she was tired. She was knocked out. She was just like, maybe they just drunk calling me. I'll talk to them in the morning. But she was the one that called me. She called me at 12:04, y'all. My sister was pronounced dead that night. That night. They had a whole freaking news thing going on about my sister that morning. My sister was pronounced dead on this at the scene. She was hit by two cars. So then y'all lied and y'all said that y'all went back and y'all looked for her. No, y'all didn't, because if y'all went back and y'all looked for my sister, y'all would have seen all them people out there. Y'all would have seen people out there because they just had a body. What kind of it's not making sense at all. And then they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk to the detective. They have not reached out to us at all. They said they're scared to talk to the. And another thing, my sister did not get a call from nobody. I got my sister phone, went to her AT&T app, pulled up her whole entire call log history. Nobody called her. She made two calls right before she passed away, as if she was trying to call for help.
So that's her sister, basically retelling this story here. So you can get an understanding of what happened to her sister. So I'm going to go over the details because a lot of you sounded like you were a bit confused with the story. So let me go over the details. Okay. So her sister on June 24th, uh, Renee, I think she pronounced it Renea went to Jacksonville, Florida with friends to go to dinner at Ruth Chris. She went with her two friends, Kiana and whatever the other girl's name was, Keisha maybe, Kiana and Keisha. So it was three girls, or at least two of her good friends. It could have been more people. Okay, they go to Jacksonville, Florida from Georgia. So I think they're from Georgia originally. So they went from Georgia to Jacksonville, which I think is not a very far trip. I think it's like maybe 2.5, 3 hours. They go to Georgia. They go to Florida. They go to Ruth Chris first, right? So that's the first restaurant they went to. They went to Ruth Chris. Then they went to a place called the Dak Shack, okay? Called the Dak Shack, like a daiquiri, a place that sells daiquiris, okay? So the one friend who called Kiera initially to let her know that something's going on with your sister, the one where she said, I got 3 calls and something just told me to answer the phone, that was that friend. She only went to the Dak Shack with her sister and the 2 other women. She did not extend that out to like clubbing or anything else. She just had cocktails with them. So they drove in for her birthday on June 24th. They went to Ruth Chris and then they went to the Dak Shack. And then they were on the highway, kind of not entirely sure where they were headed to, maybe headed back to the apartment of the friend's house they were staying at in Florida. The 2 girls went back home. One of them went back to Oregon, I believe, and the other one went back to Georgia. That subsequent that week. The story they told her sister was that she got a frantic phone call from someone, jumped out of the car near Ruth Road off of I-10 or something like that. And then she was walking on the side of the road, and then she was hit by two cars. So it's not a question whether she was thrown from the vehicle. She wasn't, because the two people who hit her stayed with her until the police and ambulance arrived, because they didn't see her. I guess they just couldn't see her. So then they ended up hitting her, but they stayed with her. So it's not a question of whether she was tossed from the car. What's up for question is, was she kicked out of the car, and was she walking back to where she was walking back to? Her car and her clothes and her other effects were at an apartment where they had first got to when they got to Florida, and then they got dressed and changed, and then they had their excursion. So they stated that that's where she was headed back to on foot. Now, my question is, why didn't she order an Uber? Right? Or was she like too inebriated that she couldn't do it? Now, remember, the medical examiner stated they have not gotten her toxicology back yet, and they have not gotten her autopsy results back yet. Now, mind you, it happened in June and it's December. And as of September, when the dad does this interview that we're going to play in a little bit, he said the medical examiner and the police said that they have not gotten any of that stuff back yet. Now, they may have gotten it back now, but at the time in September when this interview was conducted, they did not have it back yet. So we don't know what her blood alcohol level was, right? If she was on the sidewalk, but she was in the road and that's how she got hit, or she was trying to cross the road and got hit. We don't know if she has any bruises or contusions, whether she was pushed from the vehicle or she was kicked out and there was a tussle to get out, like, girl, get out the car, and she's got a scratch or anything. We don't know any of that. So there's a lot of questions. Let me get some of your questions, and then we're going to, I want to get into the article with the dad. Does that make sense? Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, I want to get some of your questions because I know I missed a lot of them. This from Brown Delight says, does Keisha live in Jacksonville? That's not where they live. I believe they live in Atlanta, and the other one lived in Oregon, or she was headed to Oregon, but I think they're originally from the Georgia area. You said, girl, this is a girl from my hometown. Where are you from? Queen Naisha, where are you from? Let us know. This from Big Dreamer says, I think someone pushed her out of the car. I don't know. I think they might have forced her out, but I don't think they pushed her out. But I definitely think that they told her to get out. Let me say that. I think they definitely told her get out the car. This from Big Dreamer again, because how she get out and get missing so quick, and they had to stop the car to let her out. Yeah, I think they stopped to let her out. I think she either got out or I think they kicked her out of the car. This is from Regis says, what was the other version of the story they told her friend? She never said. The sister never disclosed that. She never made a follow-up to that, so I don't know. Yeah, the video was looping. She stitched it together. I just wanted to play it in full so you guys can see it. But yeah, I noticed that it was looping. I think it's because she edited it wrong. This from Kamiko says, they probably went back but was worried of questioning. Probably so. That's a possibility. This is from Margaret says, what's with these treacherous girl? I don't know. It's like when the heat comes down, the friends just disappear. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, what kind of pressure are these friends under where they just completely just like when bad stuff occurs, the friends are just nowhere to be found, It's wild. This one St. Hunton says, all I could follow was her sister was gone. Yeah. Yeah. So I hope I explained that well enough. This is from Brown Delight says, child, this is so heartening that as Black people, we are harming each other. We really are. I mean, you can actually tell from this story to Shanquella Robinson's story to Megan Thee Stallion story. It's just this very much anti-Black woman note that is just, and it's us. It's not anybody else. It's just us doing it to each other. It's no one else. So there's no one to blame. We're doing it to one another. You know what I mean? This is from Everything Ebony. What's up, Ebony? Says, I live in Jackson. Dak Shack is the next city over. Yeah, it's like where she was found is I-10. It's like south of I-10. where the Dak Shack is. So literally, when you pull it up on the map, it's literally a straight line from where she was found to where the Dak Shack was from the last time they were all together. This from YNV says, I'm gonna call her Mrs. Tear because I apologize. I know you guys have been trying to put it in the comments. I do not know how to pronounce this young woman's first name, but Mrs. McTear probably didn't call 911 when she got out or was kicked out the car because she was thought that they would come back and get her. Could be. Or maybe she didn't feel like she was in danger. But again, we don't know what Mrs. McTear's blood alcohol level was. So it's safe to say that if she was inebriated to a point where she just couldn't was aware of her surroundings, it probably didn't dawn on her to call the police or call her sister or call anyone. Does that make sense? Right. And this is not to blame her. It's just like when you're drunk, you know how it is. You just not in your right state of mind. Right. Because most people who are in their state of mind is like, oh, they kicked me out, girl, I'll just call an Uber back to my car and I'm gonna go home. But when you're inebriated, you're not thinking straight. You know what I mean? You're not walking straight at that point. This from Jacqueline says, were there highway cameras in the area or not? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. You said, please stop putting this on black people. Well, it's only black people harming black people. The Megan Thee Stallion situation, they're slandering her across the internet. It's not white people doing it. It's black people. This girl was, basically left behind by her black friends. And Shaquilla Jackson's story really just speaks for itself. So it's not me. It's the people. You can't blame me for their actions. If they decide that's how they're going to treat their friends, what you want me to do? I'm just telling the story as it is. This from Burnett says the story is crazy. It was her birthday and everything. Yeah, it was literally her birthday, right? So her birthday of all things, which is just the sad part about it. This is from Coco JB says, I'm stuck on the part of her getting a call that had her upset. Who was she talking to that phoned her that caused her to get out of the vehicle? She never received an incoming call. That's what the sister was explaining in her video. They stated she got a call, got upset, and asked to get out of the car. That's not true. When she checked her sister's call log, her sister never received any incoming calls at the time that the incident occurred. So her sister never got incoming calls. But at the prior to her sister getting hit by those cars, she did make 2 calls. So I don't know. The sister did follow up in the comments and say, when someone asked her, who did your sister give a call to? She said that her sister, she called the number that her sister was calling, and they never answered. So she has no idea who it was. It could have been a burner number. I don't know who her sister had called. This is from Tamiri says, I can answer the Uber and Lyft, can't pick up on highways. That's true. So she was probably trying to get off the highway. Yeah. Also, they can't just pick you up randomly at random places. You have to have an address. Back in the day, Uber and Lyft, you could not, if it wasn't your home, they were not picking you up. They did not pick you up in front of like a Dunkin' Donuts. You had to have a home address for them to pick you up. Now you can get an Uber to pick you up, well, basically anywhere except highways and freeways. You're absolutely correct, Tamiri. But back in the day, back in the day, this is like 2016, 17, 18, you couldn't get an Uber unless it was your physical address, which is so wild because I'm like, you should be able to get picked up anywhere. This is from Nana, gonna keep it real, said, this is crazy you said, this is crazy how I'm in your live talking about her case when I was just looking for updates on her. Is her cousin and we lived in the same city. You said updates on her. She is my cousin. Oh, well, my condolences to your cousin. And we lived in the same city. She didn't have her phone, so she couldn't call an Uber. Oh, now her sister did say that her phone and she said her stuff was in her car. So she never. So who made those calls on her phone if she didn't have her phone? Do you know? Like if she didn't have her phone and her sister said 2 calls were made from her phone to that mystery phone number, did they put her phone in her car? Did they put her phone in her car? I don't understand because it doesn't make any sense. Why would it doesn't make sense that her phone wasn't with her the whole time unless they took her phone from her. You know what I mean? And kicked her out of the car because what kind of young woman in her 20s goes out to Ruth Chris and to get cocktails and doesn't have her cell phone? You know what I mean? Like It's not adding up to me. So did they kick her out of the car and take her phone? Because that adds up, and then put her phone in her car when they got back to the apartment, because that makes sense. I don't see a 20 something year old on her birthday going out to dinner and having drinks and just, I'm gonna leave my phone in the car. That doesn't make sense. And her car door was open, which is also strange, right? So yeah, that is weird. That's weird. Okay, so she never had her phone. So those two calls that were made on her phone, maybe she was calling them to get a ride or something before the girls kicked her out of the car. You know what I mean? And then they kicked her out of the car and took her phone. Yeah, these girls are, they need to come forward. And again, sending our condolences to you, Nana. This from Samantha says, sounds sus. Her sister said she made 2 calls based on her phone log. So what call did she actually get with the friends? I don't know what that is. I think that word cold is tripping me up because I'm not sure what it is. What call did she actually get that the friends are talking about? I don't think she got any call. I don't think she got any call. I think that was a lie. I think that was a lie they made up. I think they made it up. I don't think it's real. This from Lexi. Lexi says, and how did she jump out of the car without her phone if she received that call? Somebody lying. Definitely Lexi. Someone definitely not telling the truth, because that don't even make no sense, right? That her phone wasn't even with her, not even on her, right? It's not even like, if she didn't bring a purse, it's like in her bra, or if she was wearing jeans or like some pants or something, it's not on her hip or even in her hand. So the fact that her phone is all the way in her car is weird. You know what I mean? That's just unusual. This from Nana says, no, when they put her out, she must have left it, or maybe they wouldn't give it back to her after she made the 2 calls on her phone. She was put out of the car by friends. Now that I believe, they definitely put her out of that car for sure. My thing is, did something happen at the daiquiri shop, or did something happen at Ruth Chris? Because remember, humans are really basic, and this is just for everyone. Like, humans are very basic. I think people try to conceptualize us as these like complex beings. We're really not that complex. So when humans get upset or angry, it's usually one or two things: love, money, jealousy. It's not anything else. Now it can boil down to like the specifics of love, or the specifics of money, or the specifics of jealousy, but it's usually just those top three. And it's usually only those three. They do have complexities within them, but it's usually those three. So I wonder, did something happen? Like, did Mrs. McTear end up having to pay someone's way at Ruth Chris and was like getting snarky with them, and then they were like upset? Did somebody say that, did she pay for everybody's drinks and they said that they were going to pay her back, and then they made excuses in the car? Were they like, you know how when women get, when men come around, were men coming around and flirting with Mrs. McTear, and the girls was dry hating from the side? You know how women be. So I wonder if something happened at either of those 2 establishments that caused them to put her out of the car. Because very quick, because it wasn't a very long drive. It's only a 20-minute drive from the daiquiri shop to where she was found. So something happened at least at one of those restaurants and or locations, in my personal opinion. Did something happen where she ended up having to pay for them, or did a man get involved and they, how girls be, they be dry hating and whatever? It's always something so dumb. In hindsight, it's always something so dumb, but at the moment, people are just so inflamed by it. So I'm curious. This is from Burnett says, I wonder if she got a call from a different app, because that probably wouldn't show up in a call log. If you have an iPhone, it does. Even if somebody calls you from WhatsApp, from a Text Plus Now number, or Signal, which is another third-party encrypted app, it still shows up in your call log. It does. So it would have been in her call log. It wouldn't have been in her AT&T, like her sister said. Her sister said, I checked her AT&T phone records. It wouldn't have been there. It would have been immediately just in the phone, because AT&T is not going to pick up on a third-party number like a Text Plus Now number or anything like that. So yeah, this from Amber says, I really don't understand why these people keep going out of town for their birthdays and not make it back, because it's the company they're keeping. When you're happy go lucky, and the last thing on your mind is that your friends are sus. Because it really is. I mean, in all honesty, it really is. Unless you work incredibly close with your friends, right? Your friends are your coworkers or something of that nature. Your friends go to school with you, or your friends are related to like your boyfriend, like your best friend is your boyfriend's cousin. You know what I mean? Unless your friends are like this with you, lock and step in your entire life, you're not going to be thinking that your friends are sus unless you spend an incredible amount of time with them. So it just happens. No one knows that they're going to get set up for an okey doke with their friends. You understand what I mean? Like, I don't think that people think that. Does that make sense? Um I don't think that that's anybody, right? Like now you should probably think about, if I go on vacation, can this person who I'm going with, is it reasonable? Is it reasonable that they can be trusted? Yeah, you should think about that now, specifically of all the cases that we've been covering all year. But at the time, no one thinks like that of their friends. And you shouldn't think like that of your friends, because you shouldn't live your life in this untrusting manner. If you walk around in life and you just can't trust anyone, you're the one with the problem, not your friends, right? So again, this is why we teach analysis, so you can do stuff like this for your own, I guess, for your own safety and protection. This from Nana says, the main thing that gets me is they turned right around to look for her, but how didn't they see all the traffic backed up because the people who hit her stayed on the scene? They didn't. Nana, and that's probably something you're just going to have to grapple with. They actually didn't go back to see her. I'm sure I'm sure you put two of your thoughts together and be like, it's reasonable to suspect they probably never turned around. As soon as she got out of the car, whether she was put out or she got out and realized, dang, I don't even have my phone with me, they immediately went back to that apartment, put her stuff in the car, probably chilled out for a little bit, and then realized, man, we should probably go get her. Yeah, okay, let's go get her. Went back, right? And it was already too late. They saw it, and that's why they started to panic and call the friend. They didn't call her sister. Remember, the friend who called the sister said, yeah, they were blowing my phone up, because they probably was like, oh my gosh, we just left her there, and now it's a blockade and there are police cars everywhere. And that's when they started calling the friend. Like, they probably didn't see anything, but they probably knew something bad, because you get that feeling in your stomach. You're just like, man, we just left her there, and now look. You know what I mean? It's reason to suspect that they knew what was going on. That's why they were blowing. Because what was the point of blowing your friend's phone up? She was asleep. She was asleep. Leave her alone. She had enough daiquiris. So it's you can reasonably surmise that they may not have seen what was occurring, but when they pulled up to that intersection, they knew something was up, and they immediately started trying to blow the friend's phone up. Yeah, because they probably felt bad. By the time they got back to that house, that apartment, and they were like, oh, we have her phone. You know what I mean? Because in their head, they probably thought she got her phone. This is my best assumption before we get into the dad's video. Here's my best assumption. They told her to get out the car, or she got out. They got back to the apartment. They were probably cussing up a storm. They probably looked in the back seat or somewhere, or in the glove, or in the driver's side panel, like, her phone's right here. Because in their head, they're probably thinking, let her Uber back. Let her Uber back. Because they didn't care. She probably was. And more than likely, she's probably going to Uber back and then just go home that night, or sleep in her car and sleep it off and then go home in the morning. That's probably what they thought. Then they realized, we have her phone. So let's just go back. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just leave her out there. They go back. They see all of that traffic, police cars, all that. They get scared. They call up the friend who went home. She's not answering. So they completely panic. And then by the time the friend does answer, they tell her whatever story they told her, whatever cockamamie story they were able to come up with. And then the friend calls the sister. That sounds like exactly what happened. You know what I mean? In my personal assessment. Chef Craig, I didn't crack the case. Most people are just pretty linear, right? I don't think they did anything crazy or elaborate. You know what I mean? I think that seems like what occurred. They just don't want to fess up to it, because it's not that they did anything wrong. I don't think the only wrong they did was either kicking her out of the car or allowing her to get out of the car. That's the only thing they did wrong, in my opinion. Unless the autopsy results show that she has scratches and contusions where it looked like she was pushed out, which I don't think she was pushed out. Or if she was trying to fight to be like, don't let, they put her out of the car. That's probably their only fault. Like, why would you kick someone out of the car in the middle of a freeway? You can't be that angry at someone. You understand what I mean? Are they wrong for not telling the sister? Yes. Are they wrong for either kicking her out or putting her out of the car or allowing her to get out of the car? Yes. They should have never let her leave the car in the middle of a freeway. They should have never pulled over in the middle of a highway. We're talking about I-10, and I-10 runs near where I live. Okay. So I-10 is pretty gnarly. So they're wrong for kicking her out of the car, putting her out of the car, or allowing her to get out of the car. Even if they pulled the car over, they should have never the car should have never come to a stop on I-10. You understand what I mean? Unless they had a flat tire. There's no reason. So they are in the wrong for doing that. The car should have never, you're not an Uber. What are you stopping for? The car should have never come to a complete stop, ever. No matter how she got out of the car, whether she was put out or she got out, they should have never let her get out of the car. And then the crazy part is they go all the way back to the apartment and they realize she don't even got her phone. So you've left her, right? Whether you put her out or she got out on the side of a freeway and you got her phone. Or you took her phone. One of the two. Right? At most, I think they should be at least charged with homicide. I'm sorry, at least manslaughter. At most, in my personal opinion. I think that's what they should at least be charged with once the case comes together. I don't think it's murder, and I don't think it's in the first or second degree, but I do think they should be at least charged with negligent homicide or manslaughter. Those are, to me, I feel like those charges are warranted. They're definitely warranted, right? She was in a safe vehicle. How did she get out? Why did you even come to a complete stop? Do you understand what I mean? Your negligence caused her death. And it's reasonable to say that you caused her even more infliction of her death because you took the only device that she had to keep herself safe. Like you took her only way to get literally into safety. So they should definitely be charged with at least negligent homicide or manslaughter. For sure. For sure. For shizzle. Okay. So I want to get into the dad's interview because the dad, and then also too, it's like, it's a September update, but we should listen to it because it's really critical into the case. Let me pull it up here. Let me get to one more of your comments. This from YNV says, is there a timestamp of when the friend said they called 911 when the sister said she saw McTear's phone log? I'm assuming she saw the sister's phone log when she got to Jacksonville, which would have been the same day or subsequently that week of. So the sister wouldn't have gotten any of that stuff until within the week. They said that she passed at 3:00 in the morning, but she made that call at around like 1 or 2. I think that's what that was. What's the dad's side? Same side, but we're going to get to it now.
Pain can come in all sorts of fashions. Tendinitis, shoulder.
Hold on, let this ad play. Not them making us watch an ad. Hold on one second.
The family of a Douglas woman continues searching for answers months after learning that their daughter died on her 26th birthday while traveling with friends to Jacksonville.
WAOB News 10's Alicia Lewis reports that the family is hurt by the lack of any progress in their search for the truth.
A'Ryshanae McTear is the woman involved in the fatal accident. Her family is still grieving, but also questioning why the women their daughter traveled with that night have not been taken in for questioning by investigators. In a 90-day time frame, the McTear family have been living in a nightmare. Her dad says since the tragedy, there's been a lot of back and forth hearsay on social media, but no leads as to what really happened.
During that whole ordeal, my daughter's purse, her license, everything was in a separate location at our apartment complex inside her car in the front seat with the doors unlocked. And the Dak Shack in Jacksonville, Florida, the Interstate 17 in McDuff, is 17 miles. So whatever transpired in those 17 miles, we have no answers.
Investigators say A'Ryshanae McTear was walking in the outside lane of I-10 in Jacksonville when two vehicles were going west near McDuff Avenue and hit and killed her. I reached out to State Patrol in Jacksonville to get an update.
There's no new updates. Everything still stands as is. We're currently waiting on toxicology and the autopsy report to be returned to us. And then at that point, the investigation will be concluded.
Wallace says the family is destroyed.
Everybody who hurting right now, I will absorb their pain. Because when I see her mother cry, when I see her grandma cry, I see my daughters cry, when I see her friends in the street cry,
Yeah, it's really sad. I don't know why the video paused, but it's really sad that they did that. You know what I mean? Just bad, as they would say in political science, right? Bad faith actors, right? They're operating out of bad faith, right? They're not good faith actors. They're operating out of sheer bad faith, and they know that they are. They will definitely get caught one way or another. She was a phlebotomist. She was a phlebotomist. She had just graduated with honors. But yeah, it's incredibly sad. This is from not Nene. I hope I'm saying that right. Says, yeah, I know they didn't, but it's the fact that it's the story they are trying to use, which is crazy to me because anybody with sense would know that that don't even sound right. It doesn't even sound right. Like, even if she asked to get out of the car, you should have been like, okay, well, let me just get over at least into the exit ramp. You know what I mean? At least let me get you off the exit ramp into like a gas station or a Waffle House if you really have to get going right now. Or like, girl, we're almost near the apartment. Let me just get you back to your car. But what could have possibly wanted her to get out of the car unless y'all was a danger to her, right? So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would the point of that be? What would the point of getting out in the middle of the freeway? I would never want to get out in the middle of the freeway. I don't care, unless the people I'm in the car with are a danger to me, then yeah, let me out this bee. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all the danger, let me out. Okay. If y'all are the danger, let me out the car. Let me out the car. So it makes me want to think, were they the danger? Is that why she wanted to get out? Because they were the actual problem? You understand what I mean? This is from Defining Deborah says, has anyone talked to the Uber driver since they would know what happened? There was no Uber driver. These were her friends. There was no Uber. She didn't have her cell phone and she was let out literally on the side of a freeway. So no, these were her two friends that she went to Jacksonville, Florida with for her birthday weekend. So there was no Uber. This from Coco JB says, more than 3 months at this point, still no update from on an autopsy. I guess not. I don't know what county Jacksonville is, but if it's Broward County, they probably backed up, if you ask me. Right? This from YMV says, I wonder if they tried to run across the freeway when she was hit. Did the first driver that struck her make a statement? He did, but the police aren't releasing it. They're not releasing it. This from Amber says, right, it makes no sense to get out in the freeway. It makes no sense. Who would do that? Who in their right mind would do that? No one. Which makes me believe that they must have done something to offend her, which made her say, let me out of this car. Or they were like, get out. And typically I don't see any person in their right mind saying, let me out on the side of a freeway unless they really, really, really offended her. So in my total guess, if I had to take a wild guess, they told her to get out. They told her to get out. If I had to take a guess, they told her to get out. And didn't realize she didn't have her phone. I think that's the only mistake they made. I think that's the biggest mistake that they made. First, letting her out of the car, and two, going all the way back to the apartment and realizing, oh my gosh, she didn't have her phone. That's why when the sister was telling the story, she said, what's her name was crying so bad. I think she was crying. The sister was crying so bad. The friend was crying so bad because she realized, oh my gosh, we really you know what I mean? Like, we really just let this girl out of this car. And what are the odds? Well, yeah, the odds are pretty high of getting hit on the side of a freeway, on a freeway. Your odds of getting hit are pretty substantial. Okay. So I think that the reason why the one friend was crying so badly is because she was like, oh my God, we really did a bad thing. I think the reason why the other friend wasn't crying so badly is because she just didn't actually care. And I think that the friend who was not crying, that's why the sister said she was watching the one friend, the one who went back to Oregon. She said, I was watching her really close. The reason why is because whatever occurred in that car had to do with that one friend. I think it had to do with that one friend. I think it had to do with that one friend. That's what I think, in my opinion. This from iCali says, oh my gosh, the story's so sad. No one cares enough. This is from Jocelyn says, her friend had to have the phone and purse because if they went to the daiquiri bar, she would need her license. Exactly. She's young. She's going to get carded anywhere she goes. I think she has braces. She had braces, or at least it looked like she did, or a retainer. They're going to card her. You understand what I mean? So absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct on that. They probably didn't I'm telling you, when they kicked her out of that car, I think it was a last split decision. Like, oh my gosh. Like we left, not only did we leave her on the side of the highway, we left her with nothing. Let's just go back. They go back, they see all of that mayhem. They're like, that was her. Their gut instinct told them, all of those police, that ambulance, the fire truck, that's her. That's what made them freak out and call the best friend. They told the sister. Now remember, when the story they were telling to Mrs. McTear's sister, part of it is real. I do believe they went back and they said, well, we didn't see anything. That's the lie. That's where the lie that's where the lie sinks in. They went back and they saw everything. So when they went back and said, oh, we just didn't see her, they saw her. They definitely did. They definitely did. They definitely did. This is from Daydreamer says, nah, take me back to the car and I'm not going anywhere without my purse, phone, and keys. The details alone sound sus. Yeah, they do. They do. They do. I think the police know they do too. But remember, the police can't do anything without that toxicology report and the autopsy. So it's not like the police are moving their feet. It's just, those reports take time. Toxicology reports also take a few months, you guys. So when Whitney Houston had passed away, even though she passed away, we didn't get Whitney Houston's toxicology report for like 4 months. You know what I mean? Because toxicology it's a science. It is. And it takes time, and they're very backed up, and they're not like backed up bad, but that's just like the normal time frame of getting toxicology. So, and that news interview that we saw with the dad, that was in September. So yeah, it's safe to say that more than likely by December or by the end of December, early January, the father they'll have a complete toxicology and autopsy report, which it sounds normal. This is for Amber says, sad on her birthday, people getting killed on their birthday. Yeah, it is really, really, really sad. This is from Amber again, says yes, and she had no emotion, the sister said, and was trying to cry because she couldn't, because she didn't care, which makes me think that the girl who passed away, I think she offended that friend somehow, some way, somehow, whether she called her broke, whether she said her lace wasn't just lacing that night, whether some guy was flirting with her and she was clowning her, something happened, or whether she was, something happened. She was offended by whatever she did, which made her make that decision. I wonder who was driving. Because whoever was driving is the real culprit. I wonder who was driving. That's my next question. Who was driving? Who pulled the car over? This is from Defining Gabber says, could she have been intoxicated and got upset about the phone call and decided that she needed so I want to make this clear. She never received an incoming call. She never did. She never received an income. I want to make that clear. She never received an incoming call at the time of her accident. So no one called her and upset her. No one called her and said something crazy. No one did that. Now, she did make 2 calls, which could have been someone she's asking like, hey, come pick me up, or hey, they trying to kick me out the car, or something like that. But no, she never received a phone call that made her or warranted her to get out of the vehicle. Okay, so I want to clear that up. And then you said decided needed to get out and the friends could not handle her, so they let her out. So I think that hopefully that statement clears that up. This is from Big Dreamer says, Deborah, she didn't get a call though. They lied. Yeah, that was a complete lie. They told to the family that she got a call, got upset, and asked for the car to pull over. That never happened. This is from Summer Slyer, I hope I'm saying that right, says she was in her 20s. They are going to card her regardless. And plus, every 20-year-old that I know has Snap, need memories, has Snap, need memories, friends, with friends, even if they don't post them. Yeah. But her Snap history won't come up until June of next year. She died this year. So her Snap, I know. The same thing with Shanquilla. Everyone always asks that about the Shanquilla. Like, Shanquilla didn't take any videos. She did. Shanquilla Robinson also was a heavy Snapchat user. But we're not going to get those memories from Shanquilla's trip to Cabo until October of next year. We're not going to get them till October next year because her family has her phone and those memories aren't going to pop up yet. That sucks. I wish they do like 2-month memories. You know what I mean? I wish it was like a 2-month memory. We'd really figure out what's going on with these girls and these trips. This from Ebony Wells says, evidently there's foul play involved because the friends to the family. Why wouldn't anyone come forward with the truth? Because they're hiding something for sure. This from Lexi says, Mrs. McTear posted a pic, I believe, with the friends that wasn't crying, saying she trusted that friend with her life, and that friend is sick because how do you not have any remorse? I've never seen that photo. Can you send it to us? Or if you can at least tell us where to find it? I've never seen it, but that is crazy. This from Coco says, it's been about 6 months since McTear's birthday. Yeah, so there should be some updates coming out relatively soon. Let's get past the holidays and see if anything comes out closer to her birthday. This from Round Life says, if the phone was found in the car, why haven't the police pulled the phone towers to see the phone wasn't in the car? The phone was in Mrs. McTear's car parked at the apartment complex where a friend was staying or where they were staying for her birthday weekend. So she was not in possession of her phone at the time of the accident. The phone was essentially brought back to her car. And then you said, and where the phone went, reverse the time she was in the car. Yeah, so I hope that explains that. This is from Nana says, no, I believe they didn't want her to get out with the phone because they already knew she had made 2 calls to tell whoever she was calling what was going on. So you think they kept the phone, but why didn't they just keep the phone and destroy it? Why would they what would be the point, right? What would the point be to put it back in her purse where her family can find it? What would the point of that be? Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining that correctly. What would the point be of keeping the phone? You understand what I mean? Like if they didn't want her to make calls, or if they didn't want anyone to get access to the calls that she was making, wouldn't they just keep the phone? Why would they put the phone back in her car? If she survived, listen, if she had survived walking on the freeway, she would have got access to her phone and told the whole tea. You understand what I mean? So what would the point be of like, oh, I don't want her to have the phone, right? They didn't want her to get her phone and call anyone. Then why return the phone back to her car? That's the synopsis I would have with this statement here. You said how many friends were in the car? As far as we know, only 3. Mrs. McTear and the 2 friends, but it could have been more. This from Bodala says, I can't imagine these families with the latest tragedies are feeling right now. Yeah, probably definitely heartbroken. This from Nene says, and the friends that didn't even cry was on the phone with Nene, called her best friend. The other girl, Keisha, was more of a best friend. Yeah, so she trusted the wrong one, honey. I bet you the friend who wasn't crying, bet she was the driver. One of them pulled the car over. You said, so no Snapchat, IG, Facebook, and on the calls? According to the sister, we can only go based off what the sister said. So let's just say for now, no. There could be, but the sister hasn't released any of that. She has not released any of that. This from Defining Deborah says, okay, let's clear that up. Then as an old lady, I agree that it was a disagreement between the women in the car. In my day, we never left each other, no matter how mad we got. My day too. And I'm also an old lady. So my day too, we didn't leave each other. I don't care how annoying you were. I used to hang out with my little sister's boyfriend's sister, and we used to go to the club all the time. She annoyed me all the time. All the time. I never left her. I just went to the club with her and we always came back. You know what I mean? But she was definitely annoying. This from Big Dreamer says, if she saved any of her snaps from the night, they will be in her snap memories, which I hope she did. I hope she did. This is from Azeri Mars, I hope I'm saying that right, says, but they can still get Snapchat photos and dates, don't need to wait for the memory. Yeah, you're right. The sister has her phone, so I don't know if there was anything in there that the sister found that she might have turned over to the police that she doesn't want the public to know quite yet, right? Because you don't want to tip them off, you know. You don't want to tip off the two people. They could just flee. You don't want them to do that. So the sister probably has all that information. She probably just doesn't want it released out to the general public just yet. Does that make sense? Right. To protect and preserve her sister's case. I do think those girls are going to be charged. I do think that they're going to be charged with manslaughter or negligent homicide. I think it's probably going to be on the negligent homicide part for leaving her on the freeway, taking her only way to get help off the freeway. If she had a blood alcohol level that was pretty high, that's neglect as well. Because if she wasn't the driver, she was the designated passenger, and you threw her out into a freeway, yeah, that's negligence. That's negligence. You understand what I mean? That's negligence. So, yeah. Yeah, because it's not like she was a driver and she was a drunk driver. She was a passenger entrusting you, the driver, to get her back to her destination safely. And you basically tossed her from a car or forced her out of a car or allowed her to get out of a car in the middle of a dangerous highway. So yeah, they should definitely be charged with negligent homicide, because what is that about? Because that's ridiculous to me. I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I really can't explain it. I don't even know how I would even explain it, but it just seems like, I don't know. You said, what's your email or Facebook? I have her whole snap of that night. Okay, send it over. Let me put it in the banner below. Okay. Here's our email. I should have an email without my name. I really wanted to move my name off of that. But here's our email. We're the nosy bystanders. This is, well, I'll read your comments, but I won't post it so she can get it. Okay. This is from YNV. Where is it at? YNV. YNV says, the one that wasn't crying probably was the aggressor. Our modern day, what's her name? Dejanay Jackson. Call her Dejanay because I don't remember what her name is. This is from Eve Marie says, yes, that is true. This is from Burnett says, the one that was crying is probably gonna sing to save herself. Oh yeah, because you know they love turning against one another. They love turning against one another, honey. When there's pressure applied, they love that. They love that. This from Nene says, our whole city has the snaps of her that night with the frenemies. That's why we don't. That's why we don't believe what went wrong. They were having a great time. Oh yeah, send the snaps. I want to see those. And what city are you guys from originally? They're not from Jacksonville, are they? Are they? This from Big Dreamer says, I can't imagine what was going through her head when all of that transpired. Poor baby. Me either. And I don't want to. What's up, pretty brown eyes 81? How you doing today? This from WAP. Walk and pray with me. Okay. Says maybe she got out because the driver was drunk too. Could be. And maybe she was driving erratically and she was like, get me out of here. That's also a really good theory, WAP. That's a really great theory. Because some people are like that. Some people are like, hey, we should have took an Uber. Let me out. I'm safer walking. So that is also a really great assessment. I didn't even think about that. This is from Defining Deborah says, Steph, I'm not an old lady. I'm 60. Help me understand the mindset of young people. How do you live your life after situations like this? I don't know, because I don't live on the edge. I've never had a friend cross me in that regard, right? I pick pick and let my friends pick me as a friend wisely. So I don't I don't know. I surely don't know. I have the same questions too, Deborah. This from Anastasia says, change it to info. Yeah, maybe I should change it to info. But then I send a lot of business emails. I need another email. I need an info one, but I'm scared because with y'all be filling up my inbox. Just send it here. Okay. Just send it here. Because if I do an info one, y'all, I can barely get to these ones. Could you imagine if I start a new one? Ciao. This from Pretty Eyes says, I'm always in the bushes, but I'm subscribed. Love watching. Thank you very much, Pretty Eyes. I appreciate that. You said I'm a great lady. I believe you. This is from Nanette says, she even said on one pic that she trusted her with her whole life because she never did no snakish. Now she don't even have one, and it hurts so bad because she really loved them girls. Yeah, I bet she did. I bet she did. I mean, I understand. Listen, I've lived not my entire life, but we've all lived our lives trying to save our own skin. You know what I mean? We've all lived our lives trying to save our own skin. We have. Let's be realistic, but not to this degree. This seems a little gratuitous. Okay, it seems a little gratuitous. Like, oh, I'm just not gonna say nothing. Like, you got to make wiser choices. You know, and they're going to learn that throughout their life, whether they get convicted or not. They are going to learn that you got to make wiser choices. You have to. Are you going to just let all your friends die? You know what I mean? Are you going to just let all your friends out on the side of the freeway? Come on. You got to make wiser choices. Period. So hopefully they learned something. At least that's the best. Whether they get convicted and they learn it while they're incarcerated, or they don't get convicted, you know, but they just have this life lesson. Like, I let my friend die. Those women should never be trusted until they learn a life lesson. I do believe in recidivism, right? Like allowing people to learn from their mistakes and then let them come back. I do believe in that, but they're going to have to learn it somehow, whether it's through the long walk of life or through reincarceration, but they're going to have to learn that you can't just make brash decisions and hoping that it sticks, specifically when it's in regards to someone else's life, right? Because this ain't it. Okay, this ain't it. This is not it at all. This is from Margaret. Says you can just set up an info alias address without making a new inbox. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me how to do that because I can barely manage my own company. Okay. This is from YMV says, or maybe one that was crying was the aggressor and was putting on a show with the other one not crying. Could be. It's hard to tell. It is really hard to tell. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what it is. We won't know until they get questioned by the police and the police decide whether this case should be taken to the prosecutor's office. So we won't know until then because we really don't know the whole story. I don't know how the story didn't get national attention because it's crazy. It is. My nose is itching because something in my office, this is my office, something in my office is, I don't know, something in here is irritating my nose. So I keep scratching it because I don't know, something here is bothering it. But I don't know. I don't know. So also follow me on TikTok. Thank you. We're on TikTok at Chief Nosy. We have 2 TikTok pages, at Chief Nosy Bystander and Nosy Bystanders. And thank you very much for that. Pretty Brown Eyes 81. This from Nanette said, we are from Douglas, Georgia, Coffee County. Oh, I love that name. We are 2 hours away from Jacksonville and 3 hours away from Atlanta. Okay, Hotlanta. Do y'all ever go to Atlanta? Okay, that was just a question. You said, well, they get convicted. If the prosecutor's not going to bring a case he doesn't think he can try. So they could. It's possible. They could. I don't know. But that's a great question. So what we'll do tomorrow is, when we from Nanette, Nene, I hope I'm saying your name right, Nene. When Nene sends those images over, tomorrow we can analyze her Snapchat photos, kind of get a little bit of piece of who these women are, do a little bit of deep digging into these women, and then cover some of the stories we've been covering for the rest of the week, which includes Chef Gotti, because next week, starting Monday, is Chef's Week. because we got to go back into Chef Gotti if there's any new allegations or any information we found. We're going to get into Chef Cannon Law and Darius Cooks. So it's all Chef Week, okay? Next week is Chef Week because the chef scammers, honey, are coming out the woodwork, okay? So we're going to be covering chef on chef for the Christmas holiday. It'll be the 12 days of chefs, okay? That's really what we're going to be doing for the rest of the holiday season. So coming next week, we're gonna go over the rest of the details of this story with Mrs. McTear and her friends. We're gonna review those Snapchat photos that her cousin is so obliged to share with us, and then we're gonna get into Chef Week, and we're gonna start off the first week with Darius Cooks. Okay, and if you know who Darius Cooks is, and if you don't know who Darius Cooks is, don't worry. We're gonna do his full backstory. We actually did a full piece on him on TikTok, and we're gonna bring it right here to YouTube. So we're going to be talking about Darius Cooks, Chef Law Cannon, Chef Gotti, and I might sprinkle in another. If you got a scammer chef, send it here. Okay, send it here. We're going to review the story. It's a week full of scamming chefs. Okay. But that is all that I have for you guys today. I am your host, Chief Nosy Bystander, and I appreciate you coming in for Sunday service and listening to the story of Mrs. McTear, and going over the details and sending your condolences to her cousin there, and thanking you for allowing us to share her story. But we'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, here at the Nosy Bystanders Live. Again, I am your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you on Monday, okay? Bye-bye.